The old wooden swing creaked softly, swaying beneath the golden light of an autumn sunset. The air was thick with the scent of pine and the hum of crickets waking for the evening. When Daniel pulled into the long gravel driveway, he wasn't sure what to expect. The letter had arrived 3 weeks ago, written in shaky, cursive handwriting on faded stationery. Dear Daniel, I'm not sure if you remember me. My name's Margaret. I used to live next door to you when you were a boy. I found something that belongs to you. If you have time, come by. I'd love to see you. Daniel almost didn't come. Life had been noisy lately. Deadlines, bills, and the loneliness that hung heavy in the empty apartment after his divorce. But something about that letter, the soft ink, and the polite uncertainty tugged at him. Now, standing in front of the old farmhouse he hadn't seen in over 20 years, he realized how much time had really passed. The porch light flickered on. And there she was, Margaret. Mrs. Avery, as he remembered, sat on the porch swing wrapped in a knitted shawl, her silver hair catching the last strands of sunlight. "Danny," she said with a warm smile, "you still drive too fast." He laughed, startled by how easily the years dissolved. "I can't believe you recognized me." "Oh, I'd know those eyes anywhere," she said, patting the spot beside her. "Sit. The world's too loud for standing." He sat, and for a moment silence wrapped around them, soft like a blanket. They talked about everything and nothing, about how the town had changed, how the big oak tree he used to climb was struck by lightning, how her husband Henry had passed 6 winters ago. When Daniel asked why she'd written, her eyes twinkled with something between sorrow and hope. "I was cleaning out the attic," she said, handing him a small wooden box. "Found this tucked behind a shelf. Inside was a dusty little Polaroid. Daniel, at 8 years old, sitting beside a dog on this very porch. Margaret and Henry stood behind him, beaming. On the back, in a child's handwriting, were the words, 'My real family.'" His throat tightened. He remembered that day. His parents were fighting again. He'd run next door crying, and Mrs. Avery had given him lemonade and a sandwich cut into perfect triangles. She had said, "You're safe here, Danny, always." And for that whole summer, he had been. Now, as the crickets grew louder, Margaret's gaze drifted toward the horizon. "You know," she whispered, "the house has been so quiet since Henry passed. But tonight it feels different." He looked at her, unsure what to say. She smiled gently, rocking the swing with her slippered foot. "It's quiet now because you're here." Something in those words broke through Daniel's tired heart. It wasn't loneliness she was talking about. It was peace. The kind that comes from being seen, remembered, and loved without needing to earn it. He stayed longer than he'd planned. They ate soup from mismatched bowls, laughed about old memories, and watched the stars bloom one by one across the sky. When he finally stood to leave, Margaret touched his hand. "Promise me you'll come back. The porch cacks less when it knows company's coming." He nodded, his eyes misty. "I will, and next time I'll bring the lemonade." A month later, Daniel returned, this time with tools, paint, dinner paint. Yes, on spranditiersho. Nisai porch swing he'd built as die himself. The neighbors watched as he sanded, hammered, and painted through the afternoon. When he hung the new swing and sat down, the wind rustled the maple trees, carrying a faint scent of lavender from the garden. Margaret had passed away 2 weeks earlier. Her daughter told Daniel she'd mentioned his visit every day after he left, how it had been the best evening in years. He sat there quietly, the swing rocking gently beneath him. And in that hush between the breeze and the heartbeat of the world, he swore he could hear her voice again, soft and content. "It's quiet now because you're here." Sometimes the smallest visit can fill a lifetime of silence. Sometimes kindness isn't about fixing the past. It's about sitting long enough for someone to feel seen again. And as Daniel watched the sunset over the porch that had once been his refuge, he finally understood peace. Doesn't come from escaping the noise. It comes from being someone's quiet, as she sat on the porch swing and whispered, "It's quiet now."